good and bad things going on since I started. A lot of good. The good came from working the front desk, telephone calls come in, had some good contacts that way. Had some crazy people walk in off the street as well, but nevertheless, it should close.
The crazy people under contract.
Yeah. But I do have one little word that you can't trust what the agents put in the listing, because this agent put in that it was a short sale, and my buyer jumped on that and offered a price based on knowing that it was just listed as a short sale, and he wanted it, and found out during the contract that it is not a short sale. So how do I explain that to him? Why did he pay list price? I mean, I didn't know it wasn't a short sale until afterwards, and she emailed me a few things telling me that it was a short sale right from the very first day.
Bank addendums and all that?
It said in their third part, no, she was telling me, oh, it's a short sale, it said it in the listing. And now the other day when I called her out on it, she said, hello, Donna, I just wanted to mention that no matter what status I put in MLS, I could be wrong.
Oh, that's not right.
It's definitely not right. It's definitely not right. Now, I'd asked Donna being fairly new, I was telling Donna that, first of all, when she told me it was a short sale, I said, for goodness sakes, don't have the guy buy something else, because they take so long. But this is what the guy wanted, and I have to add that this guy came in as a renter. And
he wasn't sure what he wanted.
Right. So she converted him to a buyer, which is another important part. But he jumped on it because he thought it was a short sale, and the agent said the bank has approved this price.
He was approved, yeah.
So that's why he offered that
ready to close, that everything was good on his end.
Something really needs to be done with that agent, but we want to wait to get it closed.
Right.
And the buyer has been very upset, but we've been able to keep him calm.
But the day they were here, you were the one that picked up and said, ask the agent where the bank is on this. And I did, and that's when this whole thing.
I said to her, John, I said, you need to find out where we are in this process with the bank, with the short sale, because I don't care what she says, banks do change their mind and things happen. And that's when Donna started pressing her about that. She said it was not a short sale. One little,
could you have renegotiated at that point? Could they have renegotiated?
We have a ratified contract.
Well, I asked her for the elevation certificate.
How about, what about the due diligence?
Well, that was over. That was coming up to be over. But the point of it is that the buyer really wanted the house.
Sure.
And so he just fell in love with it. He wants it. But he would not have offered that price had he not known. I thought it was not a short sale.
And we didn't get the appraisal back yet either.
Oh, but yeah, that's the thing. The price.
We didn't get that. She keeps asking, did you get it? Did you get it?
What?
I think it'll be okay.
I don't remember, did we put in that contract that it was contingent upon the short sale bank approval? Because normally short sale contracts have that in there.
Yeah.
I know the MLS said subject to lender approval. That was in the MLS remarks.
Yeah.
So that woman really, I don't know why she did all that. But that's bad, very bad. But it looks like it's still going to go to closing.
So how would you check something like that?
You wouldn't know to check it. I mean, you're
the agent is
Check
authorized.
on short sale?
Yeah.
Typically, now I don't want to take away from what you're saying, at least the course I took for distressed properties, there's typically bank addendums that they sign off based on their short sale procedures. And then you can put in the contract, if you haven't heard from the bank by such and such a time, or if they haven't given you certain approval by such and such, you can back out of the contract. You have to protect yourself for things, because sometimes these short sales, you're on the top of the stack and you're working with an asset manager telling you all this stuff. They got so many, they quit. New person comes in, turns the pile upside down, and it's taken 9 to 18 months to sell a house.
And that's one reason on this one, because Donna didn't, it's new, Donna's, and all this is new to her, and we thought it was strange. I asked about the short sale addendum, and the listing agent said she didn't need that. And we thought that was odd, but the woman kept saying it was a short sale, and the bank had already approved this price. And that's when I said, Donna, we need to find out what's going on with the bank. That's when we found out it is not a short sale. Supposedly, she's selling us that now.
Right.
Who knows what's really true?
Would you have a copy of the original MRS printout to show, MLS printout to show the status of
Well, it
yes
still says-
or?
It still says that.
The one with the third
She hadn't
party.
changed it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would use that,
Well, I think
wouldn't go south here.
one thing is that the seller has agreed to do certain repairs, right? Because the due
Right.
diligence is over now.
Right.
And then we did end up having to get an extension of the due diligence period. Also, that was another experience that you got in there.
And she's doing the scale 100 and the elevation certificate.
So the listing
So-
agent's paying for the, so she, yeah, because
Well,
of,
I asked her to.
Well, that's great that she's paying for it, but you should probably choose it, because I don't know, I would trust whoever she's,
Really?
gonna call
For the scale 100?
for both, for
The
anything.
elevation certificate.
Huge
is-
earth inspectors.
Yeah, that's just what, I wouldn't trust I wouldn't trust her picking out anything. But
we can
sorry.
talk about that.
I'm sorry, everyone.
I just thought that was fascinating what you go through with that, so.
Well, is that agent new one, the listing agent?
No.
She knew? She don't know.
Crooked.
That's not fair.
He or she is crooked.
Well, the buyer is saying to me, he was in the office the other day, he called me, so I was walking to the bathroom, he called me, and he was telling me all about the fact that it was not a short sale, and he was upset because he felt he paid too much, and so I assured him that, and this is true, in today's market, if you really like a house and love a house, you pay the price.
That's right.
And this had a contract on it, and it fell apart. And so he wanted to jump on it right away. And I said, even if you had not known it was a short sale, more than likely you would have paid full price anyway, because that's the market we're in.
He
So
had-
he kind of took that.
He had a hard time making a decision, and Rex came out and asked him, if you found out that you lost it and someone else got it, would you be upset? You know, just like that, and he was like, yeah. I would."
And he is getting his mortgage through
Roxanne.
Good.
Prosperity Mortgage, yes.
Insurance?
And he's getting Terry. Terry's getting insurance. And I'm sure Rob Donaldson's probably closing it, or someone.
Weeks, I just,
Weeks,
oh, no,
weeks.
somebody else, I'm sorry.
Anyway, one of the attorneys. So, you got anything else you want to share?
No,
Very interesting.
it's very interesting. Ups and downs, but I think the ups are worth it.
Well, I wanted to also you to share your very first sale in real estate came from where?
Walking door to door with the door hangers. And I went around right in my neighborhood, I was around the block, backing, the houses backing me. And I found out my neighbors were renting, and they found out I was a real estate agent, and they were looking to move, so. And I sold them a house in Charleston National.
That's great. That is.
And it was only 2 weeks after I had my license.
That's what I'm telling you guys, get out in the farm areas, and also floor duty here in this office. Donna's got, I don't know, 7 or 8 clients she's working from being on the floor duty.
So if you wanna do that, like, there's someone to show you how to answer the phone.
He would, yes, definitely show you how to answer the phones. And you just sign up for whenever you're available. I don't have the calendar downstairs, and I'll show you. Okay. Ute, you got something good for us? You have a lot to do.
People living underneath the houses that people don't know about.
Tell us about the one, you may have something else, but tell us about the one where the buyer did not want to be, the seller to know who he was.
Oh, yeah, that was a very, well, the one thing I'd like to mention though is, I work everything, rentals and sales, so it's just like, it has been a good source of leads for me. All my rentals, I have really boomed last year and this year in particular, simply because I work the renters and they're renting, and now many of them are ready to buy, so don't turn a renter down. It is amazing. My business is really blossoming. But I sold a house in Bell Hall in Hibben, and it was my listing. Beautiful house, one of a kind, and somebody called me on my sign and said, "I'd like to buy your house." Never seen it, and he said, "But I don't want you to disclose who I am. I just like to buy it." And I said, "Don't you want to go inside and see?" He says, "No. I've seen the house many times. I just like to live there. I like to get into heaven for that price. It has to be a gorgeous house." So I had to not disclose my buyer's name to anyone. He said it's very confidential. So it was very hard because I was the agent for the listing for the seller and I was the agent for the buyer. So to keep that totally neutral and separate.
You became a dual agent.
Became a dual agent.
How would she write a contract in that situation? What wording would she use?
Let's see, what did you do?
I simply used only the first name initially,
Oh.
and that's all I did. And it went through different banks. They didn't want to use Prosperity Mortgage, so it would not be closed to our company. They did not use our insurance agency. They dealt with their own bank, their own insurance company, their own lawyer. And then the seller signed separate paperwork on closing date in that office, and then the buyer went another day to the closing table and then signed his name, and everything was closed with an attorney who was not affiliated with us.
And the signature, you couldn't tell, you
You
didn't
couldn't
read
tell.
what it was.
You couldn't tell.
Could she
You
have,
never knew who it was?
Yeah, I met him later. Yeah.
could she have, I don't know if this works any longer, but could she have said, even her name or your name and or assigned?
She could have done
I
that.
could have done that.
And or assigned would allow you to have the not have his name in it.
And the other thing she could have done would be to have, and we talked about this, Ute and I talked about this before she actually wrote the offer, was to have him put it in an LLC.
Sure.
Yeah. But it was just a very delicate situation, and he never even saw the house, but was totally in love with the house.
And obviously he knew the seller, sellers knew him.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, they did not want to.
And they probably didn't like each other.
They probably didn't, and of course. A few days later, my seller called me, who moved to Florida, and said, "We heard that so-and-so moved into
Oh, I'm
this
sure
house."
their neighbors probably told
The
them.
neighbors told, not called, and Haven is a very small, and I said, "I understand that, but listen, we got the money, you close on it, it's not your concern anymore." And they were happy, but it was just like walking the fine line for the longest time.
Well, did they not, what is it, you don't think they minded that this unknown buyer bought it?
No, they just didn't like each other. So
Okay.
the seller did not like the buyer and vice versa. They just didn't like each other. And I guess that's why they wanted to stay anonymous. You know? Whatever, right? People have weird things going on sometimes.
But there is a legal way through our real estate contracts to
And or
standard verbiage for secret purchasers and shells and all that kind of
Not
stuff.
really, not in the standard printed material, no. The standard printed material does have a place in there that says our signs. Now, attorneys differ on opinion on this. A lot of attorneys will tell you that that portion of the contract is simply if someone dies. That means, that's what that means. So if you want to be sure that you need to put it in the top where you put the buyer's name, put somebody's name and or signs. Put those words in there, then it can definitely be a sign.
an LLC would probably be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, but now, if you really go by the contract, the new contracts, that last paragraph before the signature line there says, if it's an LLC or corporation or something, they're supposed to provide the paperwork that they have proof that they can sign.
To the seller? Oh, so then they would.
That would be that's something new in that newest contract.
All good. And I do right now sell a house and have tenants in there, they lived there for the last 3 years. They are very, very angry with us that we are selling the house. They hardly allow us entrance to it. So we always make sure now in the new leases that we say in there 60 or 90 days before the lease ends that we are allowed to show the house. Because they are so upset that we're selling the house and they have been in there for 3 years. They are cussing us out every time, and it's really hardship for the seller because they like to sell the house and they're kind of held hostage now by the tenant.
So anytime you go to list a house that has tenants in it, you need to, that's
Super careful with that.
that can be a problem.
So there's no verbiage, correct me if I'm wrong, that states if at the end of the lease, the seller wants to sell it, that they have to cooperate as part of the deal? I thought there was a
It
provision.
says, but it's not clearly spelled out, so we make them now sign. We put it now under remarks, especially, and have them sign it because they don't read the leases, the tenants.
believe the standard lease says the last 30 days.
Mhm.
But typically, if a seller wants to sell it, they want to put it up for sale before.
Well, I thought it was 30 days to re-rent and 90 to sell.
But I
No,
know the lease,
it's not in there, it's up to 30 days, no.
the lease that we use.
So, a lot of tenants just don't care. And what are you gonna do to them if they break the rules?
Ooh.
I mean, there's nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do.
It's really tough with tenants in the house, yeah.
Well, if they don't, and it's part of their rent, then they're considered to have been violating provisions of the lease. They can be evicted through proper process
Sure.
in
Well,
time.
you know, it
Which
takes
would
so
take
long.
longer
Yeah.
than,
And then they might ruin the house. I mean, you run into nothing but problems. You have to be so nice to all parties just to make sure it goes smoothly.
Ute is a really good example of, and as she mentioned earlier, and a lot of agents don't like to work with tenants and potential renters, but and we new agents, that's what we encourage y'all to do that, and what Ute just said. She's having a bang-up year this year because she has tenants she put in houses last year, and they're buying. I mean, this woman's already passed her 90,000.
Yes.
So, she's ripping it up.
Yeah.
And it's because of tenants. I mean, a lot of it's because of
A
tenants.
lot of it is, and many owners suddenly say, wow, I can finally sell my house. I don't need to deal with the rental stuff anymore. So they're very happy just to unload their rental property. So it's been a blessing for me.
So the moral of her story is deal with your tenants.
Yes.
And stay in touch with them.
Data.
After you put them in the house, stay in touch with them. Because, don't just put them there and forget about them.
That happened to me last year. And my tenant, I called him, oh, we bought a house.
Oh, my.
So now.
Who else has something? Boyd, do you have anything? Anybody else have any other stories? That's good.
Back to work, I guess, huh?
Very good, thank you. I thought it was very well.